What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're here at Lake Julian Disc Golf Course, pairing up two overstable mid-ranges, beaded mid-ranges. So we have the Method out, but we also have the Belleair, the Climo Disc Golf Belleair. It's made by Discraft, and since this is kind of the summer where everything's switching to Z, Proton, C-Line, Champion, we've got it in their Victory Line plastic, which is very akin to Z plastic from Discraft, but it is a little bit softer, a little bit grippier, a little bit gummier. So let's see if the Shadow Stone can pair up against the Belleair here at Julian. As is tradition, the C-Line Method's going to lead us off first since it was the one in my bag. These both have very similar parting lines, very similar profiles, very similar plastics, and that's kind of where the first Belleair that I battled kind of didn't really hold up because of it was that softer, more Star or ESP style plastic. This, while it has some giving, some gumminess, you can see through it. So it is possible to use this disc in the summertime, or at least I hope so. So parting line is going to be very similar. Again, the Belleair is just a tiny bit more blunt and a little bit more sloped, but let's go ahead. Method first. Caught up on some trees. Kept it just a tiny bit too high. I need that a little lower, a little bit more driven. Yeah, we're gonna give it to the Belleair there, and I was hopeful about this because when I threw the Champ, their putter, they called the putter a 0-0. And while the Champ may be a 0-0, the Champ in Victory Line is not. It has a very consistent fade at the end of its flight. So I'm hoping that torque resistance or stability that the other Belleair kind of just didn't quite have, I'm hoping that this Victory Line Belleair will give me a little bit better power control. And something that I realized is that I never really did throw the Luxe Vapor Methods forehand when they were the ones in my bag. But the C-Line Method has a little bit more torque resistance, and it is more stable, but it does have a little bit more torque resistance. So I have started forehanding this a little bit. It's kind of those in-between shots where the pyro might be a little bit too stable, or the pyro might need to flex it to get it there, or holes that I consistently try to throw a forehand on and the forehand consistently doesn't work. Throw the Method, see what happens, and somehow it seems to work out with the Method, but not with my other forehand disc. So I have started throwing the Method forehand. Let's see if the Belleair can do the same thing. And I know this isn't the best forehand hole. Let's see if we can keep them out of the lake. Wanted that to come out again. Why are my first throws coming out so high? I don't want it to be that high. A branch. Okay, that was a better line. That was actually the intended release. It could have used a little bit more anhyzer, but that was the intended release point. So here again, second throw is going to get the point. Hopefully we can start to have 2 consistent good throws on each drive. So, oh boy, almost just ate it right there. Method with 1, Belleair with 1. And since I'm talking about the Belleair, I keep accidentally thinking of the method as the balance. It's not. I know it starts with a B. It's a different disc. Now, proton method or proton balance might be the same as the method. Who knows? This tee pad's very hot, so we're going to keep this one short. Instead of the more swinging flex line from the first hole, low piercing power flex, so that hopefully we can finish right in the middle of the fairway. Well, that wasn't very flex. Good tree. You know, about the same, but Belleair faded earlier, got a luckier kick. The method stayed in the fairway longer, so based off of release points, I did actually, again, I put the method where I wanted it to be. The Belleair was a little bit early. Neither one was a good shot, but method with 2. This is one of those forehands I was talking about with the method, where I don't throw method on this tee pad though. It's this style of shot and this shot shape is that if I throw my pyro out here, I've got to try to push the tree. So I'm almost flexing it towards the woods and hoping that it stables out early. Or I throw my rhino and got to kind of wing it and hope that it stands up enough to get that consistent hyzer. Whereas with the method, it doesn't fade as sharply or as dumpy as a pyro does. So it'll actually give you a straighter hyzer. It's the same shot as the pyro, just doesn't fade as hard right. It fades a little bit softer right. So it's a lot easier to get closer to the basket on a shot like this. Because the pyro is good, but if I did that with the pyro, I would be all the way in the woods. Would have never been close to the basket. That's surprising. To be fair, it's a forehand, so it could have been a worse release. But this victory line Belleair might be more overstable than the C-line balance. That's really, really interesting. And I say it's interesting because the other Belleair was not even as stable as a Lux Vapor method. And a C-line method is a good bit more stable and torque resistant than a Lux Vapor method. So if this is actually more torque resistant and actually more stable, that means that you can buy 2 different plastics and realistically have 2 different shot shapes. Brand new out of the box. 2 different plastics, same mold, same weight, same everything. Just it's going to be a little bit different because the plastics make that much of a difference for this specific mold. The method with 3 in a row, the Belleair got the first one because probably, now that I'm looking back on it, probably because the method drifted a little bit more and the Belleair fought out a little bit quicker. So, that's one of the reasons I love the method, is that drift you get, because if I want it to just kind of flex real quick, I'd throw a pyro. Yeah, I think the Belleair is more stable. I think if I got the Method on that much anhyzer, even as soft as it wouldn't have fought out like that. Because I didn't just fight out in pan, which is what the Method does. The Method fights out in pans, and then right at the very, very last second, it'll kind of dump a little bit. But that Belleair that's operating more overstable, more torque resistant. That's so... And it's like a completely different stability slot. That's why I'm so confused by this. It's so different from the other plastic. Well, let's keep throwing it. But right now, Method with 4 in a row. Looks like Method's probably going to win out. So let's go close us out and play one more hole. Made the birdie with the Method too. So is the Belleair something you should go out and get? I think it depends on what you're looking for, because it is such a different stability rating. I would give the other Belleair, they call it a 5402 or 5502. So yeah, the other Belleair, I'd give it about an 02, maybe a 1.5. This Belleair is actually an 03. It feels good, it looks good, that's just such a clean stamp. It flies good. I just didn't throw it as well today. I do like this plastic better than the other one. And I think it's an in-between stability between this C-Line Method and my Proton Pyros. And I say in-between stability because it might be as overstable as the Pyros, but because of this dome, it's just not gonna have quite that intense amount of cutback. So maybe a little bit more similar to the Proton Soft Pyro, the one that had some dome on it, or possibly the Fission Pyro. It's probably the more the flight you're going to get out of this Belleair than out of the other Belleair. But comparing this to a Pyro, that just shows me that it's not comparing to this. It doesn't have that drift that I'm really actually looking for on that flex line. And when I get it on enough anhyzer, it's usually too much anhyzer. So it's a weird in-between stability for me, and I don't know if I can... I like it. It might end up in some more videos, but for today, it's going to be the C-Line Method still. Our last hole... This is a hole that I used to throw the Lux Vapor Method on, just a backhand Method flex, and it was perfect. That tree is gone. The other trees are gone. So it's a lot more wide open. So hopefully this should work. That drift, I didn't hit it hard. I didn't hit it on a lot of anhyzer. It just drifts. And it cut over to the right, but then it was already starting to fade. The Method was still on the way right. Probably a little bit more left to right wind than I should have thrown that shot with. But the reason I love the Method is because it gives you that overstable flex shot, but it holds longer. So it's basically the mid-range version of the Eagle, the Destroyer, the Wraith, the Orc. All of those -1.3s are kind of what the balance or the Method shows me that it has. Is that it, if you throw it hard and flat, it's pretty much going to go straight and then fade. But if you get it on a hair of anhyzer, it's going to drift for a lot of its flight before it starts to fade. And I love throwing flex shots. And the Method is just... Go buy a Method. I'm not sponsored by Discmania, but go buy a Method. It's amazing. Hopefully you enjoy content like this. If so, please make sure to like the video. If you want to see new stuff though, make sure to comment all of that down below. Please make sure to subscribe. It helps you guys out with these subscriber only giveaways. And if you want to be automatically entered into monthly giveaways, check out the memberships as well. Until next time, see you out on the course.